Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Not Your Average Bucket List by Only in Your State. We are tackling the world of speakeasies today, particularly one in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a hidden gem called the Alley Light. I'm here with my co-host, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Marissa.
So, quick question. When you think of a speakeasy, what comes to mind?
Drinking liquor out of a teacup, being somewhere dim, uh, saying passwords. I mean,
No, that's a good
I,
one.
yeah. What about you? What comes to mind?
Yeah, alcohol, craft cocktails, dimly lit, maybe leather seats, maybe some velvet thrown in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some sort of password entry or I don't know. Yeah, when was the last time you were in a speakeasy?
Oh gosh. So I would have to say like a speakeasy, not one of these that just has like a sign out front that's like speakeasy here. Like that's not how it worked. So probably whenever I lived in New York, I was a glutton for speakeasies. Like
Hmm.
I don't know if you but since because you've probably traveled there quite a bit, but like my favorites were the Back Room, Angel Share, Please Don't Tell. Bathtub Gin was great. I had a birthday at Bathtub Gin, which it's kind of like
Hmm.
burlesque slash speakeasy where they have like these performers in these
What?
bathtubs. And then there is one close by that I haven't been to yet. And I'm very excited, called the Watson. I think it's in like a old USPS building or something.
Cool. Near you in Ohio?
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool.
Not even in like a major city. So I'm excited to try.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, well, the place actually that I was talking to you about, I think maybe last week, behind the scenes, it's called
Oh, that's
Hanson's
right.
Shoe Repair. And it's in Orlando. And so you have to call this phone number, and they have an automated message that gives you the password that they update daily.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to go like crawling through their social media. It's in a very, you have to walk downstairs into this basement. First, it's like a two-part speakeasy. Basement speakeasy where you can sit around and have delicious craft cocktails. And then upstairs is Hanson's Shoe Repair. And that's
Mm.
the name of the speakeasy. And you need a password. And
Have you ever
yeah,
been to the Beauty and Essexes? I think there are a couple locations.
no.
The
Mm-mm.
one I went to in New York, like it looks like a guitar repair shop or a pawn shop out front, and
Mm.
like, but you have to go behind it. I don't think you needed a password, but you'd have to like say your reservation to something where you didn't think, like this person's not
Mm.
running the cash register. That's how you get in. And then it's
Right.
like this big, oh God, it's so fancy. It was this big open air, kind of like botanical seating area for like the food. And then there's like an upstairs clubby kind of vibe. But the best part about that place, I must say, I know we're not talking about New York today, but they have these grilled cheese and tomato basil soup, like little shooter spoons. They have like little tiny
Ooh.
grilled cheeses and tomato soup. It's great. Uh,
Love that.
yeah,
Um,
but
what do you think it is about speakeasies that people like love so much? Because they've had this come up, I feel like now after having, a history.
I mean, right, like it's not 1919 anymore. Like we're
Yeah.
past prohibition. And for any listener who's not aware of why speakeasy came about, was because of the 18th Amendment and the US Constitution basically prohibiting the sale of alcohol. So prohibition, and then people wants them drinks. And so basically after they passed the Volstead Act, they have all of these, especially like mafia men who are like running these illegal operations, especially on the East Coast. And they would just illegally manufacture and distribute liquor during this time whenever for some reason the country outlawed it.
Yeah.
Not to dive
Wild.
in there, but
That's a whole
but I
other
do
episode.
also, oh my gosh, I was so did you watch Boardwalk Empire? I was so obsessed with that show.
No, I didn't.
It's all
That's about prohibition?
It's about prohibition. It has
Oh,
Steve Buscemi in it as Enoch
right.
Thompson, and like this big wig during the prohibition era. I mean, I thought it would took place in New Jersey, so I'm
I was gonna say
surprised that you.
Atlantic City, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I
So
was more of a Sopranos type of gal, but
mm,
I'll have to check it
okay,
out. Okay.
it's great. I love it. And anyway, my personal um theory behind why they're getting big again is just because like there's this atmosphere that I think that especially people maybe like in my generation or the generation below me, it's like we don't want to go to like a sports bar or a betting bar or just like this big brightly lit place that,
Right.
maybe generation above us wanted. I don't know. But I do think that
Yeah.
we starting to like the history is new again. It came around again. Boardwalk Empire aired in like 2010s, and I feel like something like that really kind of like put it in people's minds of like, oh, like this is really cool, we should probably make something out of this. And I don't know, maybe HBO is
Yeah.
all to blame. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, no, in that same vein, I agree with you. I think it's because to me, a speakeasy goes hand in hand with craft cocktails, which
Mm-hmm.
had this huge come up, like a renaissance, if you will, in the past couple of years, especially, I would say,
Yeah.
just in the like general libation scene, because it's kind of like the same way the foodie scene has exploded, which,
Yes.
by the way, we're going to talk about Charlottesville, which is people are saying a huge foodie town.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in that same vein. You have these restaurants that are doing very unique things with food, and then you have these bars or speakeasies that are doing really, really unique things with drinks. That it's not just about like, if you want to shoot some liquor and, get drunk
Right.
fast and like down a Long Island or three, but it's not about that anymore.
Whoa.
It's like, dead. But it's like it's an experience going to these bars.
Yeah.
It's an experience from start to finish. Giving a password to some like that already creates this air of exclusivity.
That's true. And also with the rise of social media and people posting about these fancy exclusive spots that have
Yeah,
amazing looking cocktails, it's dimly lit, it looks cool, and the word spreads, but especially when you don't know how to get there, where it actually is, there's a sense of adventure of like, do I need to
yeah,
crowd behind this like refrigerator to get
yeah.
into this
Right.
bar? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, that just reminded me when I was in Barcelona, there was a fake butcher shop, and you had to move the
Oh,
fridge,
yeah.
and then yeah, it was like a whole cocktail speakeasy back there.
I want to say I've been like, that's the one I'm thinking of. Like
Yeah,
literally.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll Google that
crazy.
after.
Yeah, it's so wild that because I think it's just the fact also maybe that it's a secret. Speakeasies
Yeah.
have this air of, like same with prohibition. That you're going to get drinks illegally. That's a big secret. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
you're adding some thrill into the mix rather than just going to Applebee's and getting a draft beer. It's like you have to go to this
Right.
place that I don't know. I think that there's an adventure behind it too.
There is, and there's also almost like that air of like inclusivity, because if you got in, that must
Yeah.
mean you belong here because you're
Right.
cool enough to
Right.
to get here this far. I
Yeah.
also learned during the research for this episode that I didn't realize that like snacks and finger snacks with like craft cocktails also came about with prohibition because they didn't want to raise any attention to
Hmm.
like this like a restaurant or anything, but they didn't want their patrons to walk out blasted, so they try and
Right.
sober them up with these like little like finger foods. And that's if
Wow.
they're just like putting
Smart.
out little bowls of whatever. Yeah,
Very smart. Okay,
I mean, it's
cool.
never worked for me personally, but you know
Here's a couple mixed nuts.
yeah,
Um,
you'll be fine.
yeah, so before we jump into the alley light in particular, I wanted to kind of talk about Charlottesville, the small town of Charlottesville, Virginia, where this place is located, because this was my first venture into
Hmm.
research behind Charlottesville. I was unaware that this place existed. I'm so glad that I was able to learn a lot because what a historical, vibrant town that
Yeah,
I'm sure we've covered on Only in Your State. We have to.
absolutely.
If not, that would be a crime because wow, there's so much history and just like stunning natural beauty surrounding.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't spent a ton of time in Virginia. I used to work for a place that was headquartered in Richmond, so I went there a couple of times. It was also kind of cool, but then that was like the extent of it, or maybe like driving through to
Hmm.
visit like DC or go down south. So after looking at this restaurant and looking in Charlottesville, I just had this like light bulb of like, yeah, I need to go here. Like as soon as the
Yeah.
weather starts to clear up, it's like driving distance. I'm gonna go here. It looks
Oh,
like a
no
great town.
kidding. Lucky. I need to let me map
Well,
my route because it takes me like 15 hours to get out of the state of Florida.
yeah, so maybe
Um,
like 25 hours. It'll be
yeah,
fine for you.
I'll see you in 2 days. But I thought what was really cool I agree with you. This definitely made my list. I know we say that often, but
True.
it not only do we have this beautifully charming small town at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, but there's also a ton of wineries. The Monticello Wine Trail,
Monticello, I think, because
Monticello.
it's based on Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Monticello. Okay. And so there, this wine trail has 30 wineries scattered throughout the countryside, which, you had me at Wine Trail. But
Oh,
then also nearby, Shenandoah National Park is just a short drive away from
yeah.
Charlottesville. So I feel like you could really make a long weekend out of exploring a whole bunch of stuff here.
Well, even more than that, so to jump on top of it is like, so yeah, Monticello, and it's a historical town because what presidents Thomas Jefferson and James Monroe were from Charlottesville, and then
Yeah.
nearby Orange was the hometown of President James Madison. Obviously, this is like, yeah, of course, East Coast cities in that little area. That's a lot of founding father area, that kind of stuff. But if you're interested in U.S. history, I think that would be a great place to visit.
Yeah.
Um, Also the University of Virginia. I saw great things about the Carter Mountain Orchard, the downtown mall, and the historic Mitchie Tavern that was established in like 1784.
Oh,
So
wow.
whether you get like
Cool.
food or drinks there, I think it would just be cool to visit a place that looks like it was established in 1784. That's pretty
Yes.
cool.
That is very cool. I know that we've definitely featured Shenandoah before.
Hmm.
We've probably on Only in Your State. I'm referencing, um, but also and just like history, I feel like in this area, yeah, the University of Virginia, huge, founded by Thomas Jefferson in the early 1800s, and yeah, the surrounding neighborhoods too make for like a really cool experience.
Also, did you see that? And I saw it a couple different articles, but it was referenced as like the happiest city in America, and it's known
What?
as Joytown, USA.
Okay, that's it. I have to go. No
Yeah,
way.
so the National Bureau of Economic Research pinpointed Charlottesville as the happiest city. And I don't know what metrics they're using, but you can read all
Interesting.
about it on onlyinyourstate.com. But yeah,
Very
we
cool.
found it as one of the happiest cities. And, it's just, if it's a foodie city, it has Shenandoah Park, National Park nearby. If it's historic, and I mean, yes, please, I want all of these
Yeah.
things.
I know. Wineries, speakeasies. You have
Hmm.
I'm sure too, like college towns sometimes foster this really great sense of community. Um,
Yes. Yep.
so I think that's also very special. And yeah, look, any town that's going to be, because I always hear those surveys about the happiest country, and it's like Denmark and Sweden, and I'm just like, what are they doing over there? Like,
Well, they are smaller. They're smaller.
yeah,
They don't have, a giant country with, I don't know. What do you think the happiest state is? Maybe we should do an episode on this. Like
I would love
overall.
to and pull all of our audience and all of our,
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. I like that. In search of the happiest state. Because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
there are some interesting metrics I'm sure we
I,
could use.
I feel like Ohioans are like we're polite Midwesterners, we're supportive, maybe a little frigid, but also not like, but I wouldn't deem us as like the happiest state.
Right.
It's like
That's a
we're
really
very
good question.
pragmatic state.
I I also love that as a pragmatic person myself. Um, so we pulled our Facebook audience at Only in Virginia. Our Facebook page, for anybody that doesn't know, we have a state page for all 50 states. Only in Virginia Facebook audience, we asked people to tell us what their favorite part about Charlottesville is, and we had an
Mm,
overwhelming response, which I always love to see that because it means that
absolutely.
like shout out to that community for really loving their area, their town. I feel like that
Yes.
speaks a lot, and now it kind of goes hand in hand with it being the happiest town because yeah,
Yeah.
people have great things to say. So just wanted to shout some people out. First of all, Janine said it's a foodie town. So that's where I got that foodie town from, and then looked into the restaurants there, and wow.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people, I recommend anybody right now listening, go to that page. There's a ton, over 100, almost 200 comments of people just recommending things to do. Elaine said take a river
Yes.
trip with Rivanna River Company. Um, Rekka said, watch a Cavalier marching band rehearse at Cars Hill Field. Michelle, and
Mm-hmm.
actually a couple of people said Bodo's Bagels.
I saw that a lot.
Was it?
Bodos, yeah.
They had me at bagels always. Yeah, did you see any others?
Yeah, let me see. A lot of vineyard recommendations, a lot of different ones, but like we said, it is a spot to go for great vineyards and wineries. Definitely Bodos. And then also I noticed some hiking recommendations, but just gonna sidetrack real quick. Have you seen people the nickname like Seaville? See, like for Charlottesville, I
Oh,
saw.
yes, yes.
So I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, Seaville's great, whatever." And then I started thinking, like, okay, well, is it like Seaville for Charlottesville, or is it like Seville or Seville? You know what I mean? Like Seville,
Mm,
is it Seaville, Seville, Seville? We need to listeners
yeah.
let us know.
Help us
I'm
out
assuming
here.
Seville. I just
Yeah.
anyway. I don't. Sorry, listeners. Anyway, but yes, definitely all the wineries and even all of the hiking opportunities nearby in
Yes.
Shenandoah. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, agreed. With the waterfalls, panoramic views,
Mm-hmm.
forests. It's like over 200,000 acres to explore, which well worth it in my book right
Yeah.
there. And then a lot of people, so circling back, a lot of people recommended Downtown Mall, which
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
so I feel like when you hear it from me growing up in New Jersey, malls were like this very indoor kind of, you go on a rainy day, you spend hours, but Downtown Mall is different. It's a historic pedestrian thoroughfare that is at the heart of the city, and it stretches 8 blocks along Main Street, and it's one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country, and it's kind of like a gathering place for everyone.
I love a good pedestrian mall. I used to live by 3rd Street Promenade in LA, and it was just my favorite thing to take my dog and just, even if I'm not shopping, but you just like do laps around it and just people watch. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So downtown mall. I know I was expecting like, oh, we got a Sears and a JC Penney's. We're gonna like
Right.
sit by the fountain, you
Yeah.
know, get a slushy.
Auntie Anne's
But
pretzels.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so downtown mall, it's a mix of shops and boutiques and restaurants, art galleries. This is where people go. There's shopping, dining, festivals, and it also happens to be home to the Alley Light Speakeasy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about the Alley Light in general. First impressions. What do you think?
So, as I'm wont to do, I immediately looked at the menu. And as soon as I
Yeah.
saw that the bar snack said like veal sweetbreads, marinated mushrooms, and porcini and truffle cod, I'm like, okay, this is a step above.
Right. Yeah,
This
not
is
your
your average
average.
bar snack.
Yeah. Not your average bar snack.
Oh my gosh. You expect like a good pretzel and beer cheese or maybe some
Yeah.
like, yeah, mixed nuts, but no, they really step it up. And
Yeah.
the mixology menu also is just awesome. How about you? First impressions, what do you think?
Yeah, the first thing I did was I checked the cocktail menu, and because I feel like as a speakeasy, it really that's really where they should wow you.
Right.
And I feel like they do a really great job of making cocktails an experience
Yeah.
there. Probably why it's so popular. And I thought what was interesting, so it was formerly a one bedroom apartment, which I think is very interesting. So it's kind of hidden. There's no signage. It's not
Nope.
like you're gonna come up on a giant sign and be like, oh, this is where the alley light is. You need to kind of know. There's no name on the door. So you should know where you're going first and keep your eyes peeled.
And that's how you know it is a true speakeasy. If you're
Yes.
wrecked with anxiety as soon as you open the door, like, is it?
Yeah.
you know, you can't see it. There's no sign, but there is, as it's named, an alley light right above the door that you're going to be looking
Yeah.
for.
Yes. So I just want to, we were able to speak to the general manager and owner, Chris Dunbar, and he wanted to pass along this. I'm going to read it. So this is Chris Dunbar. The Alley Light was formerly a one bedroom apartment. We opened in February of 2014 with French shared plates, craft cocktails, and an old world wine list. We could be a little hard to find, but our guests seem to enjoy the unique environment of the restaurant. Great spot for special occasions. They take reservations, and there are cozy spots by the fireplace. or seats at the bar. But already that sounds like an excellent place and really fun.
Honestly, I love that it does have the speakeasy vibe of not having a sign or anything like that, but you can make reservations. I love me a good
Yeah.
reservation, especially like you can do it on the website. You don't have to call anyone
Yes.
for all of the phone-averse, which sometimes is myself included. But
Yeah.
that's awesome that he was able to reach out to us. I'm glad.
Yeah, it was. And so just perusing their website, this is what I think makes them really unique. This is what I think makes speakeasies unique in general. They said about their craft cocktails and culinary experience. From the website, it says, we think that most stuff tastes better when you make it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Consequently, we try to make as many cocktail ingredients as we can in-house.
That's amazing.
And
I love that.
That to me already sets them apart from a lot of other bars and speakeasies.
Yes.
And they have, so they're homemade bitters, syrups, sodas. They have proprietary concoctions at the bar. And they really focus on craft, technique, and just drinks that are well made, which I think is why they've been able to develop this almost cult like following without much in terms of signage, you know?
Yeah. So are you looking at the cocktail menu right now?
No, should I?
Well, I was just going to ask, like, what would be your drink that you would order from the Alley Light?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Do you have one right now off the top of your head?
I'm looking at the menu and I'm thinking I would either get the Skittle Sour sounds good. So Woodford Rye.
Wow.
I don't even know what Ramazzotti Risotto is. Guava, grapefruit, lemon, egg white. Sounds great.
See, I think this is what I like most about like their menu in general. For anybody that's unfamiliar, they have classic cocktails, house cocktails, and then they also have their own stuff, which special. You know what I probably would do? They have an option called Dealer's Choice for the adventurous. Tip
Ooh.
only, please. Dealer's
Yes.
Choice. I think I would do that. I would be like, you know what? Surprise me and see how it goes.
I didn't even notice that. Oh my gosh. It's been a while since I had that. I went to a fancy brunch the other month probably. and I did that and I just didn't know what was even in it. It was just smoky and amazing and I couldn't even recite what it actually was, but perfect for the day.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so just taking a look at their menu and seeing everything we just saw, talked about, their food sounds incredible as well.
It does.
It's no wonder this place is so highly reviewed and regarded. I feel like, especially on Google, people are one guy, Marshall, said 5 stars just doesn't do it justice. The Alley Light is the greatest dining experience I've ever had.
Yeah, people are loving it. It's like 5 out of 5 across the board.
Yeah, I think that's, when you have a place like that that's so special and people are reviewing that well. Brittany said, Alley Light is one of our all-time favorite spots. It's our go-to for an anniversary dinner, even though we live about 2 hours away.
Whoa, yeah.
You're going to drive 4 hours round trip to go to this place because it's just that special for you.
Yeah, it does look really special, like the perfect date night spot. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah. So, So also just adding to that, Thomas said the restaurant is unique, a speakeasy atmosphere, no name on the door, located in a small alley. So really, you have to be looking for it. And then Alan said, we went early, 5 p.m. We were able to sit at the bar, had the 2 best Manhattans ever in my life.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like if I go to Charlottesville, I'm going to show up at 5 o'clock, write it open. I'm going to snag some of the fire seats and I'm not moving.
Yeah.
I'll keep ordering. I'll be a great guest, but I am not moving. I want to be comfy and I want to be by a fire and be warm. The end.
Oh, yeah. Just at fireplace, I feel like that's just kind of the cherry on top of everything we've already mentioned. But now you have a fireplace?
Cozy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're adding this to our list that we need to visit this place.
The ever-growing list. Yeah.
It's going to take me the rest of my life to go to all these places that we talk about. But...
Well, maybe the next season on the podcast, we're actually following through and it's touring the country and visiting every spot. We just casually claim like, oh yeah, I'm going to go there.
Right. Like, surprise, we bought an RV and This is our job now.
Podcasts on the road. I love it.